Man, it's great to be with all of you. It's great to be at this event today. We have a great team from Federal Motor Carriers who are here with us as well. Our administrator, Derek Bars, is right here, who's done a fantastic job for all of you and for the industry. We have the right guy working with us. I don't know kind of if you guys looked at what's happened in trucking and who pays attention to trucking and who hasn't paid attention to trucking. I'll just tell you this. President Trump wants to make trucking great again, 100%. And when we think about safety and changing the rules, to have the president actually mention trucking during the State of the Union. You heard him talk about Delilah's Law, and Delilah is right here, and her dad Marcus is here. They have done a great job in advocating for safety in the industry. We have a great proposal that's coming out of the House. It passed the T&I committee. It's going to go to the floor. But reforming how our rules work, if so many Americans who maybe didn't pay attention see all of these videos of people being killed or injured like Delilah on American roads. And oftentimes it's coming from folks who are not well trained. And so it has prompted us to start to look at what is going on in the industry. And so I just want to mention a few things that we're doing to roll us back from the wild, wild west to bring us to some kind of common sense policy around trucking. And so first off, dangerous foreign drivers. We are looking at who can get a driver's license in America and the process by which they can get one. So we've looked at non-domiciled CDLs, and those have been oftentimes issued unlawfully or illegally from many of our states. New York issued their non-dom CDLs at a rate of 50%. 20% of Illinois' non-domiciled CDLs were issued unlawfully. In California, 20% of their non-domiciled CDLs were unlawfully issued. What that might mean is you might have come across the border, you have a work permit for the next year, and California will issue a 5-year CDL license to someone who's only legally in the country for the next year in time. So we are doing away with that. There's been a long-standing rule that you have to be English proficient to get a commercial driver's license. That's not a new rule. And traditionally, if you couldn't speak English, your vehicle would be taken out of service. Well, under the Obama years, they rolled that back to just, you guys all know this, basically a slap on the wrist. We have reinstated the rule around taking vehicles out of service if we have drivers who are not English proficient. One of our problems is that I don't have a whole law enforcement team that works at DOT or Federal Motor Carriers. I have to rely on my state partners to help us enforce those laws. And I have some states who have not been the best actors, but when we point out what's been going on with their states and their licenses and how they're violating our rules, they actually help. They lean in because they want to drive safety on their roads. But we have other states who want to fight us. And by the way, this is not political. This is common sense safety. And we still have fights with states who don't want to comply with the rules. Our tools are to pull money back. We withhold money from those states. And miraculously, when we hold back millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, all of a sudden we start to get states that want to comply with us. In 2022, the last administration decided that it would be a good idea to let CDL driving schools self-certify that they're qualified to instruct a new driver in skills and knowledge. Right? Sounds like a great idea, not. But as we've dug into this, we have found a lot of these schools, they don't have a curriculum, they don't have any vehicles. It's almost like the Minnesota Learning Center, where you pay $800 and you don't go through any training. You get a certificate that you've passed the school and you have skills and you have knowledge to be a commercial driver. Excuse my language, total bullshit. Okay? So we are rolling back these schools. We are taking their certifications away. Because when someone isn't well trained on American roads, it sullies the whole industry. Everybody gets tainted with these bad drivers, and we have great Americans who are driving truck, making a living, doing the great work, following the laws, and you get some bad actors, and it, I think, affects the whole industry. So CDLs and the CDL mills, a thing of the past. We are decertifying electronic logging devices that scammers are using. We're going after the scammers who aren't following the rules with regard to their electronic logging devices. We're launching Operation Safe Drive. It's going to be our initiative to enforce English proficiency and do away with our chameleon carriers. So this is, but I just want you to take a moment, and I got a lot of you here, so I'm going to take the time. You guys have probably seen there's been a lot of aviation issues in the last year, a lot of aviation. And aviation and fixing aviation has been somewhat complicated for us. And it's a huge effort because in aviation, the system has not been updated in 20 to 30 years, and so it's really old right now. What's been interesting is as we've dug into your industry, it's not as complicated, but almost as complicated, because when you have decades of bad rules, bad enforcement, and then bad actors, to unwind that and get us better rules and better enforcement, it takes time. I hope you offer us some grace. You can tell that we are engaged, that we are moving at a different pace than you've seen in the past, but it's going to continue to take some time as we work through these issues, because just doing something isn't the mission. Doing the right things at DOT is the mission, and sometimes it takes us some time to figure out how do we move forward to get the right policies in place in the new rules that we are implementing. So just to give you a little foreshadowing of what's to come, we are going to have a new rule that comes out, so if you're not English proficient, your vehicle is taken out of service. Our new rule is, which by the way, I can't believe this wasn't the rule, but if you can't speak English, you can't get a license. Very simple. Number one. And maybe a brother or a sister of that rule is that we're not going to allow states to offer their tests in 10, 20, 40 different languages. Tests are going to be issued in English only. You can't pass the test if you can't speak the language. And we're cracking down on the ghost offices. No physical location, or multiple carriers at one apartment complex. And the mission for us is to make sure we drive safety. But when I have small businesses that have been in families for generations and they're going out of business, that's a huge problem. And it's because there's too much fraud and abuse in trucking. And so we are going to systematically roll back the fraud, prosecute the fraud, and I think what you're going to see is your spot rates are going to start to go up. We've seen a little bit of that. We watched that. America doesn't work without you. We need all of you on the roads delivering products across this country. And I just want to reiterate, you have been forgotten for too long. I promise you, with President Trump and me as your secretary and Derek Bars as your administrator, you are not forgotten. We are focusing on this like a laser, and we are moving, I think, at the right speed to roll back the fraud and the corruption and get good drivers on the road. And we are just getting started. We are just getting started, and thank you. By the way, I don't think I've ever seen a group of people that is more active on Twitter. My goodness, I get more Twitter, good, bad, and ugly. But My ask to all of you is you can. By the way, I see a lot of your Twitter stuff, so I do actually appreciate that. But if you think that our rules could be slightly adjusted and we would have a better impact, please share that with us. Or if you think you have a great idea on how we could improve the industry, please share that with us as well. We have a great team. But by the way, one of my smallest teams at DOT in all of my modes is the motor carriers team. And to move as fast as we are, I've had to pull lawyers and other assets from other modes to put them in to motor carriers so we can move as fast as we are. But I want to hear from you if there's ideas that you think that we can implement to improve the industry, to root out the fraud. I want to hear that from you, because the best ideas, by the way, we have a great team, but the best ideas don't always come from Washington. Oftentimes they don't. The best ideas come from all of you. And so if you don't share your ideas or your concerns and you just want to bitch at the windshield, that's not fair. So share with us. You have an administration that cares about the industry and cares about your feedback. This 5 minutes was more than 5 minutes. But I want to thank you all for coming. I couldn't be more honored to be here with all of you. You make up what is great about America. The work you do makes our country great. And as hard as you all fight for your families and your living, you fight for safety, but you fight to make sure products are delivered around the country, I promise you that I will fight as hard as you're fighting to make sure we get this right. God bless, and let's have a great show.